What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. Tonight, I am joined by the sixth placer, eighth member of the jury of the season of Ascendance Live, season four. I'm here with Erica. Erica, how are you?
Did I get sixth place? I thought I got eighth. Sixth in season one.
Sixth in season one, maybe eighth or sixth again. I'm not exactly sure, but you made a far run this time.
Hmm.
How
I
you
did,
doing?
I did. I'm doing good. It's been a long time since we talked last. I don't even remember how long ago it was that we had the pre-season interview. Feels like forever ago.
Yeah, yeah. Multiple months ago, you've obviously played the game already, and we've
Hmm.
seen the outcome at this point. Um, I know a goal that you had set was to beat your fifth place min, but that did not happen. Are you disappointed in that?
Yeah, but what can you do?
What can you do? So many more players this time around, I would say, right?
Yeah, definitely. And the game is a lot different than it was season one. I would argue it's way better, but
Way better. Was it more difficult too?
um I guess in this season, no, but also yes. Like the duos aspect kind of threw a wrench in it that was kind of good, but also bad at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Were you happy to see some familiar faces coming back into the season? You were obviously a returnee. You had
Hmm.
played in season one. You had Michael there, another
Hmm.
season one person, a couple of people maybe that you have seen throughout the process when you were on production, playing. So was that fun to see some people that you knew, or were you like, I don't want these people here?
No, I loved that everybody that was there from previous seasons that they were there. Um, I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't like a third season one person there. I know like in the show, like I comment on it and I was like, I guess I'm okay with Michael. And I didn't really mean it like, oh, well, it's Michael. I just meant like just Michael. Like I was wanting like at least a third person because I think was it season three had three
Hmm.
people and then us and two only had two people. But you know, we still I don't know. I think it was probably best because I think season three was looked at a lot for having the majority, but
Yeah.
mhm.
Um, Erica, you went into this game without a partner. You find out the first day that you were being partnered up with Rachel.
Mhm.
Were you familiar with Rachel prior to seeing her as your partner for the first time? And how did that work out for you?
I had no idea who she was before. I think I had heard of her name before. But no, I had no idea. I w wasn't really sure what to expect partner-wise coming in. Um, but nonetheless, I think we clicked right off the bat, so I wasn't really disappointed at all.
Yeah, seems like you guys work pretty well together.
Hmm.
So well that people started calling you, you and a couple other people, the girls, a group that was to not be reckoned with. And once that target was kind of put on you, um, how did how did that change the game for you?
I was a lot more nervous after that because I mean, I'm used to kind of like going under the radar, but also still like in season one, like I didn't have to necessarily worry about it because my team either always won or I was a captain until
Mhm.
jury. So I kind of like I felt like I was under the radar, but also not at the same time. So with all of that up in the air and getting called out like a lot, I was just like, I'm not used to this. So made me very nervous going into each round.
Did it make you like once the girls were called out, did it make you we throughout the show we saw multiple conversations with a majority of the women, kind of loosely saying that they would work together. Did that kind of spark that you guys working together more?
I think so. So in season one, all the girls kind of had like an unspoken thing to like not vote each other till jury. And I was like, I'm fine with doing that. This season two, I just know that as soon as we make something solid, that we'll just get picked off one after another. So I was like never like truly in for that, other than like Rachel. I wanted to keep her in obviously since she was my duo partner. But Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like as soon as it came out, it was just never gonna stop coming out. So might as well roll with it, I guess.
Yeah. People made it a thing, so you might as well run with it.
Hmm.
Erica, I wanted to talk about specifically when you were called out for the Chris G vote.
Hmm.
He seemed to be a little mad that you voted him out. Um, how was that? Is that similar? Is that along the same lines of, when people were calling out the girls, was that kind of like, the real pivotal part where, your name was out there?
Uh, I don't think so because maybe for the other Hollywood gossip members, I was the most nervous about their reactions. But I don't know. I think I get like a one-minded thinking when I go to vote. Like I would have never have thought to uh throw a vote like Taisha and Christopher did. I would just be too nervous that I'd mess up later on and, you know, say something that I didn't originally say, or I just know I would screw it up. So like I didn't want to like throw a vote off Michael, knowing that I like even if I voted to save Chris G, he still would have won it. I mean, if he got other people on board, that would have been different. But even if I had voted to save him, Michael would have asked me and I would have just got caught up in some big lie, I feel like. So I don't necessarily think that that was the turning point or anything. I think that happened later, a little
Yeah.
later.
You mentioned Hollywood Gossip. Seems to be the only alliance that was made really this season that had a
Mhm.
name, and you were a part of it. Um, how invested were you in that?
At first, I was super invested because, they all approached me and Rachel was in it. And I really like Adam and I liked Taylor. And then Chris G, obviously, I think we clicked right off the bat. So I was really, considering it. But then I got to know like Eli. Christopher was originally in the room when Hollywood Gossip was made, and then he just like never came back. So I also wanted to work with Christopher. And then I'm like, I really like Taisha too, but like I didn't get to know them as well as I did until like after that alliance was solidified. So then I was like, I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I mean, I still worked with them, but I don't think we were the strongest alliance because I mean, you've seen what happens. We all end up voting each other out. So,
Yeah. Yes, that's never a great thing for an alliance when you vote each other out.
mhm,
You mentioned Chris. I wanted to ask you about, you guys find this during one of the challenges, you find two halves of a pendant together.
mhm.
Um, I want you to walk me through, how the possession of that pendant came into place, how he ended up having it, and then, there's a point where you wanted it used, and he
Mhm.
kind of is like, no. So just run me through all that good stuff.
So I think we got it in, I don't even remember the comp name, but originally I didn't even want to do that one. I'm kind of glad that I did. Um, I kind of I can't remember. I think I wanted to do the one that Taylor was at, so I would not have been able to do that. So thank God. Um,
Dodge your bullet on that.
yeah, I did. And then they told us we had to make a lie or whatever, and I was super nervous about that because I'm gonna mess it up somehow. Um, and I also like I wasn't sure if we should take it because I was not sure how long the rest of the people would be doing their stuff. And I was like, if we stand down here for 10 minutes and they're all waiting on us, it's just gonna be like a bigger lie that we have to make up. So I was super nervous about that. But that didn't end up happening, obviously, because Adam and Taylor I don't even know. I feel like it was over an hour. That's when I got sunburnt. I don't know if you've seen, but I was like sunburnt the rest of the season. So, um,
Blame Adam on that one.
yeah. And then I think the round that Aaron went, is the round that I gave Christopher the other half of the pendant because he was the other name going around.
Okay.
Um, but he didn't end up having to use it because I said only use it if Aaron uses hers because then I knew he would go if she used it. And then I was like, throw a vote to whoever you want to go out if you have to play it, you know.
Yeah.
And he did. I don't know who he threw on, but after that he kind of just kept it, which I was fine with because I trusted him a lot. And then I was also okay with him saying not to use it because I kind of get, even though I said I wasn't going to be emotional this season, I get over emotional, and he was kind of just like the solid tree to not waste the pendant or anything because
Mhm.
we did need it for ourselves. So,
He ends up using it on himself in a
hmm
round where he does get, I mean, it was a multiple tied vote of two, but the
hmm
other people who had two had pendants on them as well. So he
hmm
uses it, I guess, correctly. Do you wish, um, at all looking back on it that you had it in your possession and he didn't?
I mean, the round that I went, obviously, I wish that it was still here, but I don't know if I ever needed it before then, so not necessarily.
Okay. The round that you went is an interesting round. First of all, congratulations. I think you guys were the last original duo, the green duo,
hmm
you and Rachel. So, um, do you think that weighed on the decision of the people that were voting at all to split you guys up?
Yeah, I think for some people, yeah, but I think the majority was that going into individuals, they thought that we would always pick each other for co-captain, which probably would have because if I won, like I know like Rachel, that she's was the bigger name. Well, I thought she was the bigger name, so I would have saved her with that. But I would, I don't know, I would have been open to discussions though, so I don't know why anybody didn't think of that. And I also didn't understand because they said that we were a bigger threat than Adam, who was, in my opinion, better at some of the stronger comps, but I don't know.
Yeah, so the name that you guys vote for is Adam there. Was there
Mhm.
ever a thought to work with Adam to get somebody else out? Because it seemed like he was in the Hollywood gossip with you guys, but
Mhm.
seemed like he might have been down at that point in that round to kind of work with you guys. But
Yeah, I think we talked about it, but um I didn't want to vote Taisha either. And I don't think that's who he threw out. And I also didn't want to say Stacy's name because they were close. And so then that would have only been Christopher. And, I was loyal to Christopher. I didn't want to vote him out. So I was like, I don't want to throw his name out, even though he threw me and Rachel under the bus to Adam. I mean, I don't know. I guess looking back now, I should have voted him out, but
yeah, I mean, hindsight's 2020, right?
mhm,
Erica, you were a little upset that Michael decided to vote for you in this situation. You kind of thought that that was not the move
mhm.
and the wrong move for Michael. Why do you think it was the wrong move for Michael? And looking back now, I think we could say it probably was, right?
Yeah. Well, and just every round from the round that him and which husband was it that he got into a fight with?
Matt,
Matt, yes. Uh
great fight.
every round after that his name was out. He got votes multiple times. The only time I voted for him was when he was like, "Hey Erica, I'm gonna use my pin at this round." And I was like, "Okay, well then I'll just throw my vote on him. I know he's safe. I shouldn't have to worry about it." So to me, voting me out that round was stupid because I was never going to vote him out. Whereas I just felt like once I was gone, because like me and Taisha, I think would have been the only two to not vote him out or at least work with him.
Yeah.
And if you take out one me or her, then you don't have that person. And it kind of happened to him in the I think they call it like the point 0.5 unplugged or whatever the mini that was before. He had to like win his way to where his placement was, and I was like, I just see that happening again here. As soon as he doesn't win, he's gone, or as
Yeah.
soon as he runs out of powers, he's gone. And who does he have then? So I was just like, I didn't feel like that was the best move. I would have voted Christopher out over him probably. I would have voted Chris G out over him. I think the only people that I would not have voted out over him would have been Taisha and Rachel at that point.
So it was obviously a shock to you when he kind of tells you, yeah, I'm going to be voting for you.
Yeah, and like I said, hindsight's 2020. If I would have just, said to him all that, maybe I would have changed things. But I was just like in so much shock that he thought that that was the right move for him that I was just like, you know what, learn your lesson. So I just
Yeah.
walked out. I didn't even want to continue the conversation. And at that point, it was at the end of the like the round was getting ready to end and we were getting ready to go vote. So I was like, half the people wouldn't even talk to me. So I was like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to fight, and because they were all in separate rooms, and like I would, whenever I wanted to call Christopher out for throwing us under the bus, I had to wait 10 minutes while they finished their conversation, and I was like, my life's on the line here. Get out here, quit talking. Um, but I still had to wait, so I was like, I'm not even gonna bother scrambling. Just makes it look worse. So I don't know.
Yeah. Freaking Michael, man. Come on.
Yeah, love him to death though. We've
Love him
already
to death.
talked about it.
Yeah. Can't wait to talk about to Michael too. Another thing that I wrote down that I thought was so that I wanted to ask you about, Erica, was you win a competition. This is the competition where everybody's out in the, backyard blindfolded and it's freezing out. And
Oh
you
yeah.
you stay out there with I think two other people. I think Adam was one of them and maybe Taisha.
Mhm.
And you guys win safety because it was under the threshold of people that could have been safe. And this is the round that, Chris Cheese comes back into the game. And then you're thrust into a vote where, you can't talk to anybody. And you voted
Mhm.
for Eric here. So I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you, um, was there any after that? Obviously, Grace is the one that's voted out
Mhm.
here, but was there ever any run me through what the aftermath of that was for you?
Um, Honestly, I was kind of a little mad that I wasted all of that time sitting out there because I was freezing and my sunburn like hurt so bad because like it was I don't know, like the crisp air was just like not feeling good on the burn. And I just like put my arms in my shirt and I'm in shorts and they told us to use the bathroom before and I did, but I had to go in the middle of it. So I'm just like in
Oh,
like the worst situation. Um, in my mind, I was set on Chris G. It was Chris G coming back. So
oh,
I was
okay.
like, I have to stay out here no matter what. And then to come back and it be Grace that went, I was just like, why did I mean, I still like anything could have happened. They could have not voted her out, but I was just like, why did I stay out there for that long? I feel more on a disadvantage now because I wasn't here for all the talk. And then as far as voting Eric, he was just the first person on the thing. And I was like, that's my strategy. I'm gonna go with that. Like other than me, I guess I could have voted myself. Well, actually, I don't even know if my name was there, but I think he still would have been first because I think I would have been after him, but I voted for him. Never in
And you
my
probably
mind did I think Grace would have won there.
right. So,
Mhm.
did you ever reveal that to Eric that you had voted for him?
Yeah. Yeah,
What was
I was like, I voted for you because you were the first name. Because I was like, I already knew. Well, I think was that after the round that he put the girls all on a team together. I was like, Eric.
okay?
Not cool. But in his, he actually heard what he thought he heard Aaron say, put all the girls on the same team, but I didn't know that at the time. We
Okay.
talked afterwards, but I was like, okay, that makes more sense. But I was like, you know what? I don't even feel bad because you did that to us. So
Um, so did he feel any type of way, or do you feel like it was just like a non-thing for him?
I'm sure he did, but it was one vote, so
Yeah. I mean, he got voted out the next round, so
I
doesn't
wasn't in
matter.
that vote either. So
Yeah. You were just a vote early.
yeah,
Um, okay, Erica, was there anything that you think you could have done differently for you to have won the season?
yelled
Obviously,
at
you couldn't
Michael.
you yelled at Michael, but you couldn't have predicted your partner, right? You couldn't have predicted the format of the game. You couldn't have predicted Michael not listening to you. So was
Yeah.
there anything else that you think that you could have done to made it those extra couple rounds and to the final three?
Um, I think had Hollywood Gossip worked better together, maybe. But also, I don't know, maybe I should have sat down with Taisha and Eli, and I know that they were a duo, but I really wanted to work with them. But I just felt it was too late to do that. I know it's not really shown, but it's talked about a little bit, but we played hide and seek, I think, right after Chris G came back. So that like that round ended and we all played hide and seek, and um I have to talk about this because it's so fun. There's like this in the I can't remember what is it, the Coliseum, the one that has all the big room? I think so, with the bunk beds. That's the room
Yeah, I
I was
think
in.
yeah.
There's a small door behind the bed that me and Michael and Christopher slept on. And me, Eli, and Papa got up into that thing, and we were like underneath the kitchen or something, hiding. And then we like pulled the bunk bed back into place. And like of course the lights are off. We didn't allow the lights on. And me and Eli are just like cracking up in there. And I think there's probably some footage on Patreon or something. Um, we were just like cracking up in there and then talking about some of the game moves. And I think like had that happened, like had I connected with Eli earlier, that we would have been solid. And then he was also roommates with Taylor, unbeknownst to me or most of the people. So I think that would have brought me closer to Taylor, which I think we were close anyways. Um, but I don't know. I feel like me, Taylor, him, Taisha, and Adam and Rachel should have partnered up, but again, hindsight's 2020. Again,
Maybe
I
in
think
maybe in another game.
yeah, the biggest thing though, I think had I said something to Michael, I could have at least stayed another round. And then I feel like depending on who went there, if me and Rachel were still in the game, no matter what, our names would have came up. But if Rachel had went there, I feel like I would have been set for a couple more rounds before they voted me out. But if Rachel stayed, then our names would have just came up the next round. So
Yeah. Seems like one of the critiques that I had for your game was there was a couple rounds prior to where you get voted out where Rachel's on the chopping block. And
mhm.
I said, I think I was talking to Edmund. I was like, I don't know if Erica will ever let Rachel go, even if it's,
Mhm.
beneficial for her in the game. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like you were gonna hold on to Rachel as long as you possibly could?
Yes, because it was like a automatic built-in ally. I felt like she would have never voted for me, and I didn't I felt like I would have never voted for her. So I was like, why should I vote her out? Now, if she went and I can't do anything about it, it is what it is. But like if I can try, then I should. I don't know. I think I just got like so stuck in the duo aspect of the game that it kind of blinded me, I guess. But again, like I don't know. I feel like me and Rachel came out really great friends, so I'm not sad about it at all.
And you guys made it to the last original duo. Like no one else can say
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But Erica, you played a great game this season. I want to talk to you about after the game during the jury portion where you're tasked with that one final thing where you
Mhm.
have to vote for a winner of this season. um how was the jury roundtable for you? I've never gotten to ask the jurors that, but how was it for you? Like what was your temperature on the people and the finalists? Like did you feel like it was going either way prior to you walking into that finale?
I think that it was like 50-50 between Christopher and Taisha when we went into it. Um, and then by the end of it, I still feel like it was maybe like 40-60 Taisha, or sorry, 40-60 Christopher Taisha. But I still think it was like either
60 being Taisha.
Taisha, yes.
Okay.
I still think it was like anybody's win at that point. I think the speeches and I think just Taisha is just such a good talker that she was able to, because I think Christopher's game was amazing. Um, I wish I could do like the moves that he did, like the throwing the votes. Both of them did that, obviously. He played the pendant correctly. He was able to have all these allies and nobody figured it out. But I just felt like Taisha had my back more than Christopher. So that's where I was just like, and plus, I don't know, her speech was just so good. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about your question. Your question, I think I've seen a couple times on finales, not just Ascendance, where you ask the finalists to close their eyes and raise their hands to which juror they think they have their votes. Who has whose vote and whatnot. Anything revealing to you when you went through and cycled through those jurors? Who thought who had whose vote?
I wish Stacy was more confident in her game. Because I mean, her I don't did she get a single vote? Maybe like one or five, 1 to 5 votes. I don't know, I feel like that was good in her own. Like she could have like talked. I don't know. I just wish she was more confident in that. So I don't remember how many times she raised her hand, but um that kind of I don't know. I feel like you should just raise your hand for everybody. I honestly I didn't have
Was
a
that what you were
question.
looking for?
Yeah, I didn't have a question, and Eric was like, "Hey, you can ask this," and I was like, "Why not?" So, so that was actually one of Eric's questions.
Okay. Okay. Um, Interesting. So you ended up voting for Tasha, and you said the reason why is just because her speech. Was there anything, this race seemed to be a close one between, like you're saying, between Chris and Taisha. Was there anything Chris could have done to sway you to have voted for him? Was there anything that maybe you were looking for from Chris, um, that he could have earned your vote over Taisha?
Um, Maybe if he explained uh his move of throw like that the night before I went, he created this like I don't want to say it was an alliance because I don't know if we would have worked, which we obviously didn't work together, but worked together past the round I went. But it was made, I think, me, him, Taisha, Stacy, Rachel. There might have been another person. No, I think it was just us five to vote Adam out. Like he went around and made it himself, and everybody was in on it. And then the next morning, suddenly it was me and Rachel that threw his name out, Adam's name out, and I was like, "What?" Like, and in my mind, I'm if you made all of that and then you decide to vote me out, that's just not good jury management. Throwing, I don't know. And I look at that a
Doing a little
lot.
bit too much, you would say.
Yeah, yeah, because like I feel like he had enough fuel to get rid of me without that.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm in the duo. You could have done all of that stuff. So I don't know. It was still a good move. I mean, I went anyways, but I just think you have to think about like if you think you have me and then you do that, like he would have had my vote. But then if he does that, then I think you have to know that you're risking not getting that person's vote. You have to think about that in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was my biggest gripe with Christopher. I feel like he may have just been a little bit not owning up 100% to some of the things that along the nature of that move that you're saying there,
Hmm.
which I wasn't aware of, but
Yeah.
among other things. Um, I want to run a scenario through with you. Um, Say Adam finds his way into the final three. Do you
Hmm.
think Adam stands a chance at winning over Taisha or Christopher or Stacy?
I think Adam does because Hollywood Gossip was all in jury. I think all of them would have voted for him. Now, I could have been persuaded either way. I think Taisha still could have got my vote there. But I think he definitely would have got Chris G, um, Rachel, and Taylor, and potentially Josh as well. And then if Christopher's there, I see him voting for Taisha because they work together really closely. And then I think it's just up in the air for everybody else. I still think it would have been like between Adam and Taisha. Now, if it was Christopher there, I think I would have voted for Christopher there.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I felt like we worked together better than me and Adam did, because me and Adam we were on the same page, but then sometimes we were not on the same page. Whereas I felt like me and Christopher were almost always on the same page until the round that I went. I guess we weren't on the same page, but
Does that make it sting a little bit more when you see Christopher up there and you felt like you were on the same page with Christopher pretty much all the way up until you weren't
Uh,
and you were gone?
Not really, because I know everything's just a game move at the end of the day. So like
Yeah.
I once I'm out, like I just kind of look at game moves, not like personal feelings. So um other than like I was a little bit mad about the girls thing because that's like that got personal, I feel like, because I'm just like, can you just stop? But that wasn't obviously Christopher. I think that was just like a collective thing from everybody. Um but yeah, game I think, you just have to like if he would have justified his reasoning for that and he didn't, then he could have got my vote.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Erica, what a crazy game. What a crazy, season. Uh, what was, your favorite part of the entire experience? Could be, during the game, could be, maybe hide and seek. I don't know.
I think I have a couple. So the first round that me and Rachel won captain, the balloon round, we
Hmm.
went into it and we're like, we're gonna throw this. We don't need to win this because our names are out there. We're not big threats, blah blah blah. And I have like, I'm gonna exaggerate, 60 freaking balloons everywhere. I have like five in my mouth, and I'm literally like through my teeth telling Rachel, just let me know when I can drop. We've went far enough. Let me know. And she's like, oh, I will. I will. And I'm like, my fingers are cramping up. It's down to me, Adam, and I think Josh, and then like Adam drops or something. And I'm like, okay, Rachel, is it time? Can I drop? And she's like, no, just wait it out a little longer. And then suddenly we won. So that was just kind of like a funny gag moment for us both. And then I was like, the next round, obviously, I was like, Rachel, we really have to throw this one. We cannot be like the husbands and win a second one and get a target on our back. Like, we cannot do this. So throwing it the next round was hilarious. We were just like throwing that sponge as hard as we could, or throwing it so light that we had to go pick it up again. And then I'm squeezing the sponge out, and the water's going all over this thing. And I'm like, this wood on this thing is gonna swell up, and I'm gonna ruin this thing. Blah blah blah. Um, then obviously hide and seek was another one. And then after the game, I'm sure other people have talked about this, or we'll talk about this. Um, jury was it was just so relaxing because you're not in the game. We had this ping pong ball that we were throwing up in the chandelier, and it was like some comp that we made up, and whoever could get the ping pong ball stuck in the chandelier won. And I can't remember who ended up getting it stuck up there, but um
Were you guys short on board games? Or you had to do the chandelier
um
ping pong ball short and
I
the
think
chandelier?
I guess we were. I don't know. That's just we're so I think strung out, like tired, mentally exhausted that we were just like lying on the couch, and that was just chucking that thing up there. And then lastly, whenever new people would come into the jury house, we would all sit at this table in the kitchen, and they would like bring the person in. We wouldn't see them until they came inside. And every round after I went, we were always like chanting at the table for Michael, for it to be Michael. And then finally in the round that he came in, me and Taylor are like, God bless, and we take off upstairs skipping. It's on the Patreon, I'm sure. But it was so funny. But we just wanted to mess with him a little bit. Had to get back at him a little bit, but like I said, love him. But yeah, that's probably the funnest moments.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, ribbon Michael, that's good. That's good time stuff. But Erica, so much fun to watch you get your second shot at this game. It was very entertaining. I'm glad you had a great time, and thank you so much for doing the exit interview. I
Hmm.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.